Hey everyone, welcome to Chronic Briefs. We're here with another one of our wonderful interview episodes. And today we have with me Steve, my friend Steve, or better known as Life with RA guy, who was diagnosed with RA just after his 25th birthday. And ever since then, he's been spreading positivity and kindness on Instagram and everywhere else. And that's how we met. And, positivity and kindness, kind of our brand here. So we wanted to have him on for a chat. So Steve, welcome. Thank you for being on.
You're welcome. Cheers, Dan. Thanks for having us
Thank
here.
So RA, you're diagnosed with RA on your 25th, right after your 25th birthday. Had you ever even heard of RA before that?
No, never. I had no idea
Never.
what it was. Like even from when I was a younger kid, I always used to have pain in my joints, and I used to think, "What is this that's going on?" It was just thinking. Well, from family, they always said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's just growing pains. It'll settle itself down." But then it was just one day. I was at work and just walking to the canteen, I noticed my right knee was getting worse for some reason. I was sat there thinking, "There's something wrong with this." And as I looked down, my knee was about 3 times the size as it was. I was like, something's not right there.
I know that. So you were diagnosed right after you're 25, but do you think you had it before then for a while, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I always had problems with like my hands and like being in the gym regular. It's like I was gripping weights and thinking. Some days I used to grip a weight and think I can't even hold this properly. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, that's another one of the reasons I want to have you on is because well, first of all, you don't live in Indonesia, right? But I always see you have pictures of it on your Instagram. Do you travel there a lot?
Yeah,
for work?
yeah.
Is that why?
Try and travel as much as I can. So it's not something I used to do before I had RA. I went here and there, but that's something that sort of gave me a kick up the ass to sort of go out and start living more, because you never know what happens. Somewhere else could be around the corner.
That's true, but you know what's funny is that I think a lot of people go the other way because traveling with RA, I mean, it's you got to lug your medicines, you got to lug everything with you, and traveling could be exhausting. But that's kind of why I want to have you on. You seem to have gone the opposite way in a lot of things, which brings me to my next question. Positivity, kindness, kind of seems like that's what you gravitated towards. When most people who get diagnosed, it's kind of, they feel like it's the end of their world. It's everything normal, everything they used to do, their life is over. What went through your head when you're like, and I'm just gonna right out of the gate, I'm gonna face this with, a positive attitude? Because
well, to be honest, when I first got diagnosed, it was a big hit because a lot of the aspects in life had changed. So stuff that became normal to me was even harder. I'd say that it sort of leads me on to one of your questions as well that I've got some answers for. So basically being a lot more self-conscious. It's like even just going to the supermarket or anything with a chronic illness, it seems harder. You always think someone's looking at you.
100%, believe me, and especially, and that brings me to my last question before we get to our three is, RA is an invisible illness, and I'm sure there's times that you go out. Some days, someone could look at you and say, I would never even know that he has a chronic illness, and some days, it's like you can tell that there's something wrong, and like you said, when you go to the grocery store, how do you cope with that on the days where people can look at you and see something wrong? How do you keep that positivity, even though like you said, you're being looked at?
And these days, it's at the back of my mind now. I do my own thing. I'm just sort of like in my own little world now. I'm not too bothered about what anyone else thinks. To look at me, a lot of people wouldn't think there was anything wrong. To see, obviously, going away, and nice pictures on Instagram.
And the hair. Don't forget the hair.
Still
maintain your hair. It should have its own Instagram, which I'm totally jealous of it.
Oh, yeah. that's another little goal of mine, because we can't do much with the current situation in the world. Setting little goals is always good for keeping your positivity high, your motivation. And I just think, what can I do? And last year when the pandemic hit, I thought, why not grow my hair? Another little goal.
100%. That's something I've talked about before. The little goals. Sometimes that's all that gets you through the day. I agree. All right, so let's get to the questions. What is the most absurd or embarrassing thing that you've experienced due to your illness?
Well, I know there's lots of little moments when little bits are embarrassing to like everybody has. But I think the main thing to me was the most embarrassing thing was just being the self-conscious, having more anxiety. That's what embarrassed me the most. It's just, so I used to be a sort of guy that could go to a bar, go out to clubbing for a coffee, and it wouldn't bother me at all. But ever since having RA, it sort of always played on my mind. Like, what happens if I can't pick my coffee cup up because my fingers are playing up and I'm there trying to grip a coffee cup? Like, little things like that. That's what really stuck for me for embarrassing.
Yeah, 100. And my hand sometimes, if I am holding, it'll just go, spill it, drop it in the middle of, like you said, in the middle of the coffee shop or something. So I can totally relate to that. And it's tough. Okay, here's another one. Talk about an instance that sticks out in your mind where your illness or disability allowed you to help someone or make the world a better place. I know you're spreading positivity, but is there any specific incidents that stick out or maybe that you want to talk about?
There's no sort of specific sort of thing. Like, say, I've only been sort of making people aware of RA since it was been 2019. So when I first started the website, my social media accounts, and just that whole experience of just doing that and meeting so many different people with the same sort of outlook and just giving advice through like Instagram and whatnot, and just helping other people. Say, like, some people look at my post and think, wow, you give me that kick today to get out of bed and do something. Like, I don't need to lay in bed and feel fatigued and tired. I'm going to go out and do something. Just 100%. Little things like that just really keep me going as well. Like, when I see other people saying to me, oh yeah, you help me out, it sort of helps me out. It makes me feel better.
I agree. And if you look at your Instagram, all the posts are, you can see from the comments, people, you think maybe, like you said, it's just, it helps you, but, you get an email, you get a comment about somebody that you helped, and it does. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's, I originally started it because when I was looking for it, there's not many guys like me and you that, from a male perspective, would want to talk about anything like RA. Especially from like, say, a male background. Like, back in the day, you get a group of men going out and someone wants to talk about a disability. They're like, whoa, no, what are you talking about? We don't want to listen to that.
Exactly.
No, we want to talk about the football or sports. And it's like, we don't want to be talking about whatever disabilities you've got.
You raise a great point. And I've written about this before. And first of all, we're in the minority. I think there's only a third of the people who get RA or less are men.
Yeah.
And I don't even like doing it when I write about talking about sexuality and stuff like that. That's the stuff that we go through. And I talk to men all the time who, like you said, are like, I don't even talk about that stuff, with my wife or with my significant other, much less, talk about it in public. So,
it's really 100%.
Important. It's really important what you're doing.
It's even looking at the insights into my social media. It's 80% female based, and it's just I get the odd guys in that sort of come and want to speak to me, but they don't really want to divulge too much. It's more, no, I'm having troubles. Or I've actually had a few people where they've had wives and girlfriends message me on the partner's behalf saying, oh yeah, my partner wants to know something, instead of maybe setting up their own page and talking to me direct. I think a lot of guys are still sort of in the dark ages, and
I know. I agree, and that's why I hope stuff like this encourages them to come talk to you, come talk to me, come talk to anybody, because, like you said, same as you. As soon as I started doing this, it was like I realized I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? You probably know exactly what I mean. So, all right, last one. Finally, and maybe most importantly, what is something good or positive that have come from you, specifically having your illness? What something positive that happened to you?
To me,
Yeah.
well,
Something you got out of your illness that you say, you know, it actually was a positive. Something positive that came out of it.
somewhat positive. It's sort of, from having RA, it sort of gives me like a kick on the backside to go start living life a little bit more. And obviously, with now, I've started to travel a lot more. Like you say, that's what I do. That's what I just love to do. Just go experiencing new places, new cultures, meeting new people. It's just like a brand new sort of hobby, because a lot of them that I used to have in the past, obviously training in the gym and everything, I still do that, but it's not as a main focus anymore, because it can be a bit of a challenge from day to day. So it's just sort of give you like a bit of a boost to sort of think, right, start living your life and just not dwell on things. Do you know what I mean? You don't know. Something could change tomorrow.
With RA, it probably will change tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wait, is there any place on your bucket list that you haven't gone, that you want to go still?
Yeah, so I really wanted to try and get to Cambodia. That was last year. I looked at all different avenues of trying to get there, but last year it was just no go. I did the little trip to Lanzarote in December, which was that was a bit of a battle to get there with the COVID testings and paperwork. And
yeah, I got to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised you still decided to not put off traveling for a little while because of it. I know everybody, flying on planes and stuff can't be.
Yeah.
That doesn't stop you, make you stop and think at all?
Let's say with having RA as well, there's always that thing in the back of your mind if something goes wrong, if you get ill. But I always just say, just live for the today. Just go and experience it. I can either be having an RA flare up in a nice country, it's nice and warm, or I could be sat at home doing nothing. So that's how I look at it.
And that's a great way to look at it, and a great place to stop, I think. Steve, Life with RA Guy on Instagram and all Twitter and all the other social medias, I assume?
Yeah. Mainly just Instagram that I use. So,
well, the links will be in the description of the video, so anyone who wants to check it out, and I advise you to check it out. Just thank you for spreading all the positivity and kindness that you do. It's and especially being a male voice, we need more out there. So thanks for being with us, Steve, and it was great talking to you. Okay.
You too. Thanks so much for having me.
As always, folks, if you liked the video, if you learned something, if you laughed, if you cried, please give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a tweet, and help us get the message out about chronic illness. As always, in the meantime, be kind. Needed more now than ever. Be kind. Rewind. Keep on keeping on, and we'll talk soon.